You know, I interviewed someone earlier this year who said she was in finance, just got tired of it, literally went and Googled 10 happiest jobs in America, found cupcake maker, opened a cupcake shop in Edina.
There we go.
I wish I could think of the name right now, but I'll come back
and
to it.
And now she's happy.
And she loves it.
And
it
cupcakes
worked.
are yummy.
The list was right. Let's look outside right now. A lot of the activity gets started. 94 eastbound, still cruising at the posted speed. The other areas we see some heavier traffic is Highway 10, 610, and 169 southbound, but still no major slowdowns. So we're looking good out there so far. So let's talk about our weather, and that is looking good morning to all of you at home. Thanks for spending some time with us today. We're looking at our roads. Yesterday we saw a lot of wind out there, as Keith was saying. Today won't be getting blown around quite as much as you make your drive to work. So let's just look at traffic conditions in general, and they're looking pretty good. This is a view up in Maple Grove on I-94 at Hemlock Lane. Eastbound traffic's building, but really in both directions, activity continues to increase, and not at any rate you need to be worried about at this early hour. Here's I-94 at Highway 61. This is westbound traffic trying to make its way into downtown St. Paul, doing so right at the posted speed. We're seeing that across the Twin Cities right now. 35W and Highway 13 down in the southern suburbs. This is the area of Burnsville. This is northbound traffic making its way up toward that junction of 494. We're getting a little bit, we're seeing here from Medina into Plymouth. Some of that light we're seeing on there, the orange, is just due to some of the stoplights we have in that area. Same with 169 southbound, that traffic continuing to build, but only the slowdowns as you come to a stop at those stoplights. To the Northeast Metro, 35E, 35W, we do have traffic building here, and next week we're going to go back to one-lane traffic between that Forest Lake split down to White Bear Lake. I'll be detailing that as that gets closer, because that will slow you down up there. We'll take a closer look at the southern suburbs and that construction on I-94 coming up in about 10 minutes. But for right now, let's get back to John and Jason.
Thank you, Kelsey.
Make things up, don't you? Good morning, everyone. Ignore him. 494 at Cedar Avenue, we're checking out first at our traffic jam today, and that's because we have a crash reported here in the eastbound direction. It looks like it involves a semi. Eastbound traffic, though, seems to be flowing along without any trouble. It is 611. However, we don't tend to see a lot of the real jam-ups begin this early. I'll keep you updated on how this is looking as we progress through the morning. Here's I-94 at 280. We did pretty well navigating through this new construction zone yesterday. Not new in the sense that it's new construction, but new in that it's a new lane closure. We did have issues like this last construction season. Now what's happening here in I-94 is we have, instead of 4 lanes of traffic, 3 in the westbound direction. We flowed along all right throughout the morning until we got to about the 8 o'clock hour. So it's the late morning hour where we do see the traffic congestion the worst. That's pretty unique. Normally we'd see it in the 7 o'clock hour. Here's 35E in the northbound direction at Maryland Avenue. Another crash reported here. Again, the heavier traffic, 35E, is heading toward downtown St. Paul. This is heading away from it, so hopefully won't slow many of you. Traffic continues building, but not too bad quite yet. To the northeast, 35E is going to be slowing down next week. We're going to be going back to 1 lane of traffic in each direction between the Forest Lake split and White Bear Lake. We did a lot of that last construction season, so be prepared. I'll keep reminding you though as we get a little bit closer. A quick peek at the southern suburbs, still fairly quiet down there. I'll have another update coming up though in about 10 minutes. Tom, Alex, back over to you guys.
Thank you, Kelsey.
To you, we made it to the middle of our work week, and our drive in the morning has not been too rough, despite the fact we had some moisture yesterday and quite a bit of wind. And now the construction. That's what we're focusing on today here in the I-94 corridor. This is at Highway 280. We're in the westbound direction from 280 to Franklin. We lost a lane of traffic, so instead of 4 lanes, we have just 3. This barricade up blocking that far right one yesterday didn't cause any major problems until we got into the 8 o'clock hour. I was expecting it to maybe do a little damage in the 7 o'clock hour. That's typically when we have the most congestion, but not the case. So if you get out the door a little early, you shouldn't have any trouble in this area, and those remain closed. That lane closure remains closed until June. This is another construction zone we're keeping our eye on, 169, 494. We're going to see some change-ups as they get back into that full construction season. So just always a little caution as you approach this area. This is the northbound side of 169 where we do see some slowing as you move through that area. Pretty typical though. 94 now at Highway 61. This is westbound traffic going toward the downtown St. Paul area. Check out the sky, a pretty cool view. We see a little bit of the brightness starting out there and those clouds. A dark skirts of our Twin Cities area, but getting to the more central metro area, still pretty calm and quiet. I'll be updating you though throughout the morning as we get busier and busier out there. 6:27 now. We're taking a quick break. Everyone, we're checking out the roadways, and what we're seeing right now is the sky brightening up a little bit, helping you make your way out to work. We're seeing driving conditions pretty good at this hour. We're not seeing the wind or the moisture we had yesterday morning, so that's helping things a little bit, but we didn't have any major traffic jams as a result of our weather yesterday. Here's a look at 169 at Bass Lake Road. This is southbound traffic building as it tries to approach that Highway 55, 394 area, and we're still seeing the flow even on 55 and 394 looking pretty decent. So while the sky is lightening up, though. We're not seeing the traffic lighten up, especially on 35E headed in the southbound direction. This is toward downtown St. Paul. Keeps getting more and more crowded out there. We actually had a crash earlier on the northbound side here of 35E near Maryland, but that's been cleared and you can see the traffic flow not having any trouble. This is 94 now at Highway 280 in the I-94 corridor. We have that construction going on, so we're down to just 3 lanes of traffic instead of 4 in the westbound direction. And we did okay navigating this yesterday. What we saw the congestion really get underway in the 8 o'clock hour. Usually that's as you go southbound toward Highway 96. Coming up next week, we're going to see 35E go back to single file traffic up in the North Metro. I'll update that coming up in about 20 minutes, but for now, let's get back over to the news desk.
That's true.
If it is.
It is true. Thanks, Keith. Good morning, everyone. We're seeing the sunshine out there right now. A live look outside. This is what your weather's doing, as Keith was just talking about. And now we're going to see what your roadways are looking like. We're traveling at a good speed here at 94, 169 up this junction in the northern suburbs. Traveling along 169 southbound. Traffic continues building at this hour, but no major slowdowns yet. We don't have a lot going on out there. We had a crash that happened about 45 minutes to an hour ago, 4094 in the eastbound direction at Cedar Avenue, but although the semi is still blocking the shoulder, we're seeing eastbound traffic itself cruising along without any trouble. Now that I-94 construction zone between Highway 280 and Franklin Avenue, where we lost that far right lane of traffic, so now we're reduced to just 3 lanes of traffic instead of 4. Even there, we're cruising right along at the posted speed. Nice to see in the 7 o'clock hour that we have such good traffic flow out there. Congestion of interchanges because that bottleneck effect we always see. But even 35W southbound, the heavier traffic, not even at that Highway 10 junction, which always tends to be so busy. It's really not starting until you get to Highway 96. Looking a little farther south, check out the area you're coming from. Not too shabby out on our roadways today. That weather is helping, and of course the construction's starting to really get into gear, but not a ton yet, like we'll see come summertime. So Tom, Alex, we're getting our first taste of the construction right now.
All right, thanks, Kelsey.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday to you. A bright start to your morning if you're traveling on 394 in the eastbound direction. We're having some heavy traffic right now, simply due to the sunrise. Extremely bright. I looked at 494 in the crosstown and some other areas that sometimes head eastbound into the sunrise, and they're not slowing yet. Just looks like maybe the cloud cover's a little heavier in those parts. So be prepared. 394, no crash here. We're just dealing with the bright sun. Not always wonderful, I guess. Here's a look at 94 headed in the eastbound direction. Some slowing here near Hiawatha Avenue due to 2 different vehicles on the side of the road. It looks like, though, even though it says 35W up here, we're just capturing it from that 35W jam cam. That is, in fact, 94 eastbound and 90 congestion in the 8 o'clock hour, so be prepared. That's typically when things are winding down, so I want to give you a heads up. Looking to the northeast, we do have some heavy traffic on 694. Some of that is in the eastbound direction near that Highway 10 interchange project. Another spot where we have plenty of crowding is westbound 36 from 35E to 35W. Looking to the southwest metro, don't be fooled by the green on the crosstown. It is a very busy hour here through Edina into Richfield. Same for 494, although I'd say crosstown a little bit more crowded at this hour. 35W northbound at Highway 13, another jamming spot. I'll have another update coming up, but right now, getting in the mood for summer is M.A. Roscoe.
Right, she's going to reel in a good traffic cam for us.
I'm in the mood to fish now. I actually like to fish. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah,
And jigging,
really?
it's all in the wrist.
It is.
It's all in the wrist.
Bounce those worms.
Exactly. Make them dance. We're looking at the roadways. I wish I could help pull along some of these cars because we're seeing some major slowdowns in the I-94 corridor. Well, on the westbound side, we have some traffic related to construction. On the eastbound side, we have a crash and some construction. So here we are at Riverside Avenue. We can see we're reduced to 3 lanes of traffic on the eastbound side as well as the westbound side. The other thing working against us over on the eastbound side is we have a crash at Hiawatha Avenue. So 2 vehicles involved in that. See that slow-moving traffic? It's backed up all the way Highway 10 down to 36. 36 westbound itself, we're looking at about 40 miles per hour between 35E, 35W, sometimes reduced even more than that. 35E southbound traffic heavy as you get into the St. Paul area, but 94 and 52 actually not looking too bad. Some slowing right as you get to the downtown spot, but otherwise not too bad at all for you. 494 westbound, heaviest traffic from Cedar Avenue to 35W, and the crosstown and 394 slowing a bit in the eastbound direction due to that bright sunrise. So a little interesting out there in the sky, some clouds covering the sun at times, but bright enough for it slowing us down. And to talk more about that weather, our favorite weather guy. Hey everyone, good morning to you. Thanks for waking up at the Fox 9 Morning News. We're checking out our roadways, giving you your first live look outside today. We're seeing some weather conditions a little less windy than yesterday, but still our traffic cameras blowing around a little bit. But here what we're focused on is the slowdown as you're trying to get into Minneapolis. 94 eastbound or or southbound if you want to look at it that way. Very slow going. We had a few different things going on. One, we had a crash at Hiawatha that looks like it's been cleared. You get a little bit farther to the east into the downtown region, and at Riverside we're reduced down to just 3 lanes of traffic. So a few different reasons we're moving slow through the Lowry Hill Tunnel, looking like we're moving at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Now if we go to another spot out in our roadways, Highway 52 at Eaton Street, northbound traffic a little slow here as you pass by, but it doesn't look like it's wreaking any major havoc on that region. All right, back to 94 now, coming from the westbound side, approaching Minneapolis from that end. We knew we were reducing our lanes from 4 down to 3. We did it yesterday, and we did see the congestion really get underway in the 8 o'clock hour today. Started a little bit early, and I'm guessing that probably has something to do with that eastbound activity at Riverside, and also 35 east slow at this hour. Again, 52 northbound having those slowdowns related to the crash we saw near Eaton Street. 35W southbound, a crash reported near Highway 96 going to the southwest metro. 35W, 494 in the crosstown, all having some slow moments, some of it having to do with the sunrise. So if you're heading eastbound, that's something to factor in as well. But again, 94 looking a little rough this morning. We're looking at about 10 to 12 minutes between the two downtowns. We'll keep watching that for you and let you know. I'll be back with another update in 10 minutes. We're taking a You know, I shared this story earlier this morning, but I just love it. There's this woman who was telling me that she was an insurance financial agent, just got burnt out, so she Googled happiest jobs, found cupcake maker. She opened a cupcake shop in Edina.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Really?
and she's doing great. I can't remember the name of the place, but it's 50th in France.
And who doesn't love cupcakes?
Oh,
I know, she's
okay.
happy as can be.
I know the place.
What a great story.
Cupcakes
I
are
think I've had
yummy.
some of those coconut
That's what
cupcakes.
Don said.
I agree.
The message of the morning. Cupcakes are yummy.
There you go.
Let's take a look at 94 at Riverside Avenue. In the westbound and eastbound direction, right in this area, we have 3 lanes of traffic in both sides instead of 4. So that, of course, results in some slowing as drivers transition to having fewer lanes to work with. A few other things, though, could be worse, but we have a few crashes out there slowing some people down. So you may want to allow a few extra minutes, especially if you're heading an I-94 through that construction zone. Telling us today about how our weather will be looking for you this morning. Everyone, well, it's still a busy day out on our roadways, despite the fact it's already 8:30. We tend to see things winding down at this hour. Not the case today, so let's dive right in. 35W southbound, we had a crash near Highway 96. So that southbound traffic still moving pretty slowly, especially when the weather's this nice. We tend to see the northern suburbs congestion die down by this hour. So definitely something to think about. A few extra minutes needed there. 35W coming from the south side of Minneapolis. When you're trying to go northbound, we're looking at a pretty significant traffic jam. We have a crash here near Diamond Lake Road. Then, of course, you have all that traffic trying to filter in the downtown area, so do prepare for some slowdowns here. Now to 394, some late morning traffic headed in the eastbound direction here near Winnetka Avenue. We do have a crash. That's part of the impact. Also, we had the sunrise effect in this area about 45 minutes ago. The sun was so bright as it came up, the traffic started slowing down. That does happen from time to time to slowdowns at this hour, but hopefully as we get closer to 9 o'clock, all this should die down. All right, 8:32 now. Let's get over to Alex.
All right, thank you, Kelsey. It is 8.